Hi everybody, and welcome to the Sunday weekly market analysis. My name's Chloe, and I'll be going through some things that I feel are important for market analysis this week. Excuse the croaky voice. I've had it on and off since January, and it just will not go away, so apologies for that. So I believe I have my screen share loaded, so you should be able to see my chart of gold up here. I'm going to start off with looking at a couple of commodities that I trade regularly. So that would be gold, silver, and the crude oils. I'll move on to some indices that I trade regularly as well. And then I'll finish off with the Forex markets. So starting off with gold then. What I like to do is I like to have a roadmap of where price has been and where price could go next. And in order to do that, I like to use horizontal levels. So you'll notice a few horizontal levels on my chart here. In order to see where they've come from, I'm going to put it up to the monthly time frame, just so you can see where these major levels have come from. So this thick line here, around 1917 or thereabouts. That was the all-time high for many years. It was formed back here in 2011, and it was the all-time high all the way through until 2020. So that is a significant level of support resistance. I mean, you can see here it has been resistance since price has reached that level, and it has also been support. A couple of lower levels. So we've got this top here, this triple top here, forms a level down here. And then the all-time high level. So I've got that level marked in. It's around 2074 or thereabouts. So I've got that marked in as the top level of resistance up there. So moving down to the weekly time frame, you can see a couple of my other levels that are relevant. So we've got a level of resistance through here, which is relevant. We've got a level of support down here, which could potentially become relevant in the not too distant future if price continues on its downward trajectory, because here on the weekly time frame we do actually have lower highs and lower lows overall. The important thing for me at the moment is that price is just about sticking above this 1917 level. So that is the level that price has been meandering around for a little while. Price has formed a higher low here just last week. We also have lower highs, so there is no trend to speak of on this gold chart. And gold is actually, at the moment in my mind, in an area where it could be subject to ranging or consolidating price action, because it's also just underneath this more minor but still significant level of support resistance here. So that, if it acts as resistance, could trap gold in between these two areas here, and it could move sideways for a period. I'm actually slightly more bullish on gold based on the daily time frame because of this higher low that has just formed. So it will just remain to be seen if price can take out these previous highs over here and take out this horizontal level, in which case I would start to look for potential long opportunities on an intraday time frame. As things stand, I do have to just wait and see what is about to happen with gold. Silver often goes hand in hand with gold. It often moves reasonably similarly. It is forming a low here, and there is, while there's not an exact level of support, there is definitely some support forming down in around this area that price has bounced from. The thing about silver is there's a little way up to the next level of resistance. So if it does move up from here, then there could be quite a decent amount of time and a decent distance for price to head before it hits the next resistance up here. So I'm more bullish on silver as well than I am bearish at the moment. Obviously, if price manages to make it down below this previous low here, then I will change my tune and I'll be looking for short opportunities. But as things stand currently, I'll be looking for longs on an intraday basis at least, even if at reduced risk, because there isn't actually a trend to speak of here, because we've got lower highs and slightly higher lows. So this really is just a range on silver, but it's a big enough range to be able to trade potentially on lower time frames if you've got a strategy that you like trading lower time frames on. Moving on to the crude oils. So we've got WTI here and we've got Brent crude, both very, very similar in their movement. Again, a look up to the monthly time frame to see where I have these levels from. They're historical levels from quite a way back. So there's a level of resistance here, has also been support. That comes all the way through. That's my next major level of resistance in the way of price. And just beneath price is this area here, which has been support, resistance. So price is basically right in the middle of those. On the monthly time frame, we can see that it's price is extremely bullish. On the weekly time frame, we see a trend of higher lows and higher highs. So all that remains really is to find an entry opportunity into this market. I'm very, very bullish on this market. So in terms of daily trading and in terms of intraday trading, all I'm doing is looking for longs at the moment on the crude oils. And there isn't really a strong level of resistance in the way of price until all the way up here around 98. So in terms of horizontal levels, there's a long way to go. In terms of measured moves as well, let's just get a pen up here. So if we look at this move here, then we have a pullback, and then the next move, we can see that there is the potential, if that move is the same as the first move, there is certainly the potential for it to get all the way back up here into the resistance area if that measured move plays out. On Brent crude, we have a very similar story. So again, the support and resistance levels, we've got support down here, strong support down here from this area at around $86. And then on the weekly time frame, we've got a level of support just a little bit closer, a level of what has been resistance a little bit closer, and some support over here. So the levels on Brent are slightly less well defined, but certainly what I do see is plenty of space for price to continue moving upwards into, it's just broken through a level of resistance. So there is still space for price to continue moving upwards here. Not as much space. Out of the two, my preferred is to trade on WTI, but I am still looking for long opportunities on Brent as well. Expecting a pullback at some point, of course, on the daily time frame before perhaps a further move up. Moving on to the US indices. Now, I won't spend so much time here because basically the direction has changed, or the trend has changed somewhat. So I have been very bullish on the US indices, but price has formed this level of what has been resistance, has also been support, and just now, or just at the end of the week, price has smashed back down beneath this level. So while this is not yet a downtrend forming, it certainly does spell the end for now of the bullish momentum. So I'm no longer looking for longs on the NASDAQ. In order to get back to a bullish stance, I would need to see these highs taken out here. If price does come up and take out these highs, then I'll consider trading long. I do have this level of resistance just up here to contend with. As things stand at the moment, I'm much more bearish, and what I'd actually quite like to see would be a pullback to the underside of this level here, followed by a further move down. That would constitute a lower high there. If it manages to get beneath these lows here, then that would also be a lower low, and then I would be happy to look for short term, at least, short opportunities, or intraday short opportunities potentially. The same goes for the US 30, where a double top has formed here. So that certainly spells the end potentially of the upwards momentum that had been forming. It's not quite as bearish as the Nasdaq, because we still do have this higher low here. If price manages to take out this high, then I will continue to look for long opportunities. I won't be looking for short opportunities really, unless price gets within this range zone here that I have marked out. So beneath this level here would put price into an area where I would then start looking for potential downtrend there, maybe even towards the bottom of that range area. The US 500, very similar to the Nasdaq, it's formed a lower high here, so the trend as it was is now no longer. I'm no longer bullish. In order to take long trades, I would need to see these highs taken out. As things stand, I'm waiting actually for these lows to be taken out in order to trade short on the intraday timeframes potentially. So that brings us over to the currencies. So we'll have a look at some of the major currency pairs, starting off with euro dollar. So euro dollar is in a downtrend. We've got clear lower highs and lower lows. The main area that could hold up price would be this area here. So we've got if we just take the tip of that candle there, where that low was formed, then we are just in that area now. We're just above that area. However, a more accurate level of support resistance for me would be around there, because then we've got the resistance from this area here, resistance here, support over here, support just here, and we're actually beneath that now. So price is actually strongly broken beneath what I see as that level of support there. So I'm still looking at shorts on euro dollar for now. I'm still bearish on euro dollar for now. And I will be bearish all the way down to the next major level of support, which is down here around 1.0491 or thereabouts. I would probably be a little bit more conservative and bring it to these lows here. So that would be the area of my next potential target. Now we're right in the middle of the month, and I do use monthly pivot levels. We've got the MS2 down here, so that could potentially be a level of support as well. But in terms of finding short trades for the moment, I am looking for intraday shorts and daily short opportunities on euro dollar. Cable, I'm even more bearish, and that is even more clear to me. It is currently moving downwards as we speak, although as I record this video, the market is closed. But I am looking for shorts on cable, and I will be looking for shorts all the way down to this level of support here, perhaps even beyond, although I would expect that price could make a move to the downside, followed by a bit of a retracement before heading down there, and perhaps even beyond there. So that would be my next potential target for cable on the daily and intraday timeframes there. On a Swiss, I'm bullish. We've got it's not a particularly clean uptrend, but price definitely is forming higher highs and higher lows here, and continues to do so. There is an area of resistance around this level here, which price could be heading towards. It's also heading very much towards the monthly resistance 2 level. So I am expecting some pullback on dollar Swiss, but I am also still remaining bullish on dollar Swiss. Dollar yen, very much bullish on dollar yen. We've got clear higher lows and higher highs in price action, and price is just peeping above this previous high here. So if we go on to the weekly time frame, we can see these what are all-time highs up here, and prices could potentially even head back up towards that level. There's not really, once price gets past this previous high here, there's not really an awful lot in the way for before price reaches up to the next highs up here. I would mark in that previous high there because that really indicated that was the area where the uptrend, the previous uptrend, ended with that lower high forming. So that would be on my mind slightly, and then the next area over here of potential resistance. So I'm bullish on dollar yen, looking out for long opportunities on daily and intraday timeframes. I do like to look at the yen cross pairs as well because they often do yield some really nice opportunities. Aussie yen is one I've had a close eye on recently because there is actually a bit of a chart pattern formation here where we've got these lower highs, but we also have had higher lows. So there's a little bit of a symmetrical triangle pattern here formed, which price has broken out of, pulled back, retested this area, and is continuing long from there. So I am bullish on Aussie yen at the moment. That's one that I'm actively trading to the upside. Pound yen, not so clear cut for me. I'm actually fairly bearish on pound yen, especially because I'm bearish on the pound at the moment. But it's not a particularly strong trend at the moment. It's really just kind of edging to the downside. There's a lot of support potentially around here. So the pound yen is not one that I'm strongly trading. Swiss yen is one that I'm looking at the moment because there appears to be a bit of a floor that has formed around here. We've got resistance, previous resistance, and we've got that acting as support currently. So I'm very interested to see if price is going to bounce and return to the upside here, or indeed if it's going to break through this level, in which case I then would be looking for short opportunities. So that's a key level that I'm looking out for at the moment. Euro yen. Euro yen for me is below this key level, which was a level of resistance over here, has been support. Price has broken back down below there. So I'm actually fairly bearish on Euro yen, although there isn't really a trend to speak of. This is very much consolidating price action. It's not particularly tradable at the moment. CAD yen, I'm very bullish on CAD yen. We just got this level of resistance to contend with potentially here. We can see that that coincides also with the resistance that we saw previously over here. So it will be very interesting to see whether price can actually manage to break up through this level of resistance. I certainly wouldn't want to trade into it, but if price manages to get above this level, then I will be very bullish. It may be that it pulls back a little bit on the daily time frame before having another attempt up at that level. The next pair that I would like to look at is Kiwi dollar. So Kiwi dollar I'm fairly bearish on. We've got lower highs and lower lows, and currently bearish price action forming here. So it looks like a potential lower high forming around this level. So I'm fairly bearish at the moment on Kiwi dollar. There isn't a major level of support in the way of price at the moment, so there could be some further moves to the downside there. One Kiwi cross pair that I'm interested in is Kiwi CAD, because that also is showing lower highs and lower lows, and price has recently just broken down through this little area of support here and is still showing bearish price action. So Kiwi CAD I'm looking at this week as a potential source of short opportunities. Now, Aussie dollar, I'm also fairly bearish on Aussie dollar, given that we've got lower highs and lower lows. It does appear to be slowing down, this trend. It's gone from a pretty steep aspect here, really slowing down, and those lower lows here are very, very shallow indeed. So potentially that could be a turning point. And I would say similar to Kiwi dollar as well. Those lows are certainly shallowing off. So there is not a huge amount of momentum left in that move. I'm more bearish on Kiwi dollar than I am on Aussie dollar. It just remains to be seen really where price is headed from there. And that, I think, is where I'm going to leave it for today. Those are the main things that I'm looking at. Pound Swiss, I always like to have a look at Pound Swiss because it's got such a good, strong horizontal level down here, which really marks out the bottom of a range, with my conservative top of the range being around there. And I've been looking for a move like this, a move that goes from the bottom of the range up to the top of the range, which could easily be tradable on intraday timeframes. The thing is that the last time price met the bottom of this range, it's just been going sideways ever since. So I do like to keep an eye on it in case the bottom of that range gets retested and gets another push to the upside. But at the moment, it really is just moving sideways and not doing much. The reason I like to look at sideways markets is because eventually they do break out. Breakouts have to happen eventually, and sometimes they can be quite explosive moves, and it's nice to be ahead of that and try and get in on the action if possible. So that's why I just keep an eye on that from week to week. So that's pretty much me for the market analysis this week. I hope you found it useful. Happy trading for the week ahead, and we will speak soon, no doubt. Cheers, everyone.